Hello, everyone. This year's eclipse season starts on the 25th, just 5 days after the vernal equinox. And it has some important features. Let's take a look at the London chart. If you know Magyar, Hungarian, and if you are interested in the Budapest chart, there's a beautiful Merkaba, six-pointed star in it, with the angles and the sun-moon opposition. And it's just to, if you are interested in configurations, it is worth looking at it. For some reason, I can't get rid of the Zoom ribbon. Now it's moving finally. Okay, so here it is. It's going to be an Appulse lunar eclipse, so it's not full. And of course, we won't be able to see it here in Europe because the sun will be already up and the moon is going to be below the horizon. But still, we are always looking at lunar and solar eclipses. Taurus is rising in the London chart with Jupiter, Uranus getting closer to a conjunction. There's another almost 4 months before they will actually be conjunct on the 20th of April. But in the London chart, you can see Venus and Saturn now in a separating conjunction, and Saturn is no longer blocking Venus. It's actually supporting it. And Ceres is on the midheaven, so the focal point will be our home, our family, and nurturing, the nurturing principle, while on the IC you have dark moon Lilith, the acceptance of the curse. You still have the two strong feminine traveling together, Pallas Athena and Lilith, wisdom and revolt against injustice in Sagittarius. They are nearing the degree of the great attractor. If this happens, hopefully they will do it either together or close to it. So we will take a look at it for sure. On the south node, we have the vertex. So anything coming from the past is going to haunt you, unfortunately. Neptune is at the last 3 degrees of Pisces, and this is the last 3 degrees of the zodiac itself. And this is a special area that we need to take into consideration simply because whenever a planet is here, and Neptune will be here for quite a long time, almost 2 years, we will have to deal with things that are closing, death, letting go, euthanasia, all kinds of other things regarding, or connected to dying and death, quite interestingly. And then there is this fourfold conjunction, which is really a loose conjunction, but still there. Chiron and the North Node are already doubly separating because the nodes are going backwards and Chiron is at the moment direct. And Mercury has just reached Aries, drastically altered outward circumstances. And this whole thing is intercepted because the 12th, it's in the 12th house and also intercepted. So hopefully either you guys are not really affected by this war rhetoric that Macron and the other idiots here in the EU are doing, or your peers are, but you're not getting wind of it. No one is actually knowing what's going on. It's in hiding. So the two luminaries, the lunar eclipse energy is actually in intercepted signs, Aries and Libra. Just one sentence of what actually is happening during the lunar eclipse. First of all, it occurs on the full moon when the sun is fully illuminating the face of the moon, but the moon is also illuminating back onto the sun. So if we say that the sun is the ego consciousness and the moon is the spiritual essence, they actually have nothing to hide. They actually highlight each other. And then comes the umbra of the earth, and it's covering slowly the moon. And what is the earth? The senses, the sensuality, the physical body, 3D. So actually that is what is winning, let's put it this way. Okay, let's take a look at what we have here. As I said, in the Budapest chart, we have a beautiful configuration around 5-6 degrees. The angles and the sun are making a 6-pointed star, a so-called Merkaba. And here, unfortunately, we have different angles, so we won't have it. But we still have the sun, moon, and kind of Australia. I usually allow 2 degrees for any configuration. With the luminaries, I allow 2.5 degrees. So this T square, this cardinal T square, at the apex of which is Australia, the karma breaker, is there. At the same time, you have another set of configurations around 3 degrees. And in this way, the moon is also kind of, the sun moon is kind of in it, but not really. Pluto is only at 1 degree 46. So the trine, the separating trine between Pluto and the moon is really a bit wide. But it's an air trine, and moon Pluto is always about Hades moon, as Judy Hall often said. She had a Scorpio moon, and she also had a moon Pluto fixed square. So yes. On the Mars is at 2 degrees 47, so almost at 3 degrees. So actually, the quincunx between the sun and between the moon and Mars is not actually there, and the finger of fate is also not realizing, because the sun and Pluto are too far away from each other to make a sextile, to my taste at least. So this is a wide and complex planetary picture that is really just a planetary picture and not really a perfect configuration with all kinds of loose ends and two wide orbs. Right. Let's take a look at the transcendental objects, because at least they are there. Again, the color coding is blue for TNOs and centaurs, purple or magenta for asteroids, and red for fixed stars. And asteroids are the personal karmic level. Centaurs and TNOs describe karmic wounds and other issues that are linked to deep karma. And then fixed stars are where we can get rid of those. So here we are. On the sun, you have Hera, who is Zeus's wife, and the Greek counterpart of Juno, which is a main asteroid, a major asteroid, whereas Hera is just a small asteroid, really, a tiny one. And she describes the aspects of jealousy and vindictiveness of the First Lady. And Okiro is Chiron and Chariklo's daughter. She's the little centaur baby girl, let's put it this way. And she inherits both parents' special traits. She's a seer and an oracle, but the problem is that she is blurting out things that she's not supposed to. And the fates constantly punish her. And she's so fed up with punishment that she turns herself into a horse. She forgets to talk, and she is then a very, very free little spirit. So it usually describes someone who knows a lot but wants to hide it because he or she is afraid of punishment. And this is in an intercepted 12th house sun. Can you imagine what may come out during this eclipse season? Okay, on Mars we have Polyhymnia, so Muse, Fortuna, which is the goddess of fortune, and Damocles, impending danger. On Pluto we have Iris, the rainbow, so divine messages, Psyche, and Altair, which is of Aquila. And Aquila, the whole constellation Aquila is linked to Orpheus and Eurydice as well, but mainly it's the shaman constellation that is flying towards the Milky Way. And on Australia, you have Bianor, who is one of the centaurs who want to better himself and wants to come out of its animal level and rise to a much higher elevated level. So striving for better and more is linked to Bianor. In the London chart, we do have a cardinal ground cross with the nodes and the midheaven and the IC, of course. And Chiron and Ceres and Dark Moon Lilith are also included in the picture. Cardinal ground crosses always carry a brand new energy. Something is opening up, a new gate is opening up, which will be important as the nodes are there, karma, south node, and destiny, north node. and the future and the past, and also family and the chosen vocation. And of course, Ceres again is very prominent here. Now, this is dissolved by Venus because all of a sudden you have this, and also by Jupiter, so between the Jupiter-Venus sextile, and we have a brilliant cut diamond involving the South Node, MCIC, Jupiter and Venus. Jupiter-Venus sextiles are brilliant because they provide double lock. And then we also have this tiny little angel wing on top of the brilliant cut diamond, and the apex of which is the North Node. Learn to fight what's yours, learn to assert yourself, learn to have all kinds of survival techniques. That's what it suggests. And yeah, you can trust your luck, Venus, Jupiter, as long as you learn what needs to be learned and you. And here are the transcendental objects. On Venus, you have Paracelsus, the polymath, Cupido, love, and Ahernar, Alpha Eridanus. I showed this a couple of days ago. You may remember Eridanus is the largest of the constellations. It starts around the stars of actually almost the best stars of Orion, a little bit underneath the celestial equator, and goes all the way down to the South Pole. And it actually describes our journey when we leave our equilibrium in order to learn, to evolve, and we reach our highest potential at the very, very end, at the end of the journey. That's what Ahernar signifies. On Jupiter, you have Shiva with W, which means that this is a Slavonic love goddess. So there's another luck energy there. Eros, another desire energy, and Panacea, universal remedy, one of Asclepius's daughters. On the midheaven, you have Electra. She's a funny figure on the Minotaur story. She's the one who is trying to get revenge and gets her little brother to kill her mother. So it's a funny revenge energy. But there's also Rukbat, Alpha Sagittarius, which is the foot of the celestial archer, and denotes steadiness and strength. So you can actually look at the future with this energy. On the IC dark moon conjunction, you have Sphinx, secrets. This whole chart reeks of secrets. It's so funny because the Budapest chart has a very, very different flavor. So yes, it does show that at different spots in the world, you have different energies emerging. And this is quite fascinating to actually look at it. On Chiron, you have Amor, another love energy, love yourself. My younger granddaughter, her name is Vilma, and she sat on my lap the other day and she goes, "Do you know who I love the most?" And I was like bracing myself, maybe it's me or whatever. And she said, "Myself." That started to look because she is so cute. She's a very beautiful little girl, and she's so right. We need to learn ourselves. Otherwise, who is going to love us if we don't learn to love ourselves, right? Okay, especially under such circumstances that the powers are that we are trying to give us at the moment. Okay, on the North Node, you have Pan, university, everything, and also panic, both, and Alpha Andromeda, which is the second healing place of suicide victims. The first one is Sheat, and the second one is Alpha. This is where we learn to move freely out of bondage, really. And on the South Node, you have and Vertex, which is the point of no free will. You have victory, and Agora, which is Delta Corvus, which is linked to it's the healing place of black magic and all kinds of negative magic. Okay, and if we look around a little bit more, you know me that I like to do that, but there because I always at such moments when there's really an important thing, and an eclipse is always important. And I'm already getting questions what will happen on the 8th of April when the solar eclipse is going to be there. Of course, we are going to look at it as well. But you see that Ixion is right at 5.5 degrees Capricorn, making a cardinal T-square with the luminaries. and also making a harmony triangle with two other TNOs, or actually these one is a TNO and the other one is a centaur. But in karmic astrology, we use the word centaur for all trans-Neptunians because it's easier to refer to them. And Gong Gong is a Chinese monster that is fighting up there in the sky, and he makes while doing so, he makes a huge hole on the filament of the cosmos. So everything gets crooked and horrible and falls apart, and the sun is falling from the sky. So actually, it's the cataclysm significator. And Kirke, of course, is, or Circe, actually, it's pronounced Circe in English, is the sorceress who turned men into pigs. And girls, it's really high time we turned those European leaders who are just full of the S word to pigs. Really, we should do that. And the other one is Amicus. And Amicus is, of course, the centaur who is who is a seer and an oracle. And the problem is that whenever he's right, he is he is disregarded, and whenever he makes a mistake, he's ridiculed. So it's a Cassandra karma linked to it. So those are, and here's Ixion, and I mean, he's the first documented psychopath to my mind. He was king of the Lapids. And he was very ambitious and very self-confident, so full of hubris. And he didn't want to pay the bride money for his wife to his father-in-law, and brother kills him. So this is a sin that was never committed before, and that is why there is no redemption either. So he is just wandering, trying to find redemption. He can't. And then Zeus, the other psychopath, feels sorry for him and invites him to Mount Olympus, where Ixion returns the favor by trying to rape Hera. And in order to avoid it, Nephele, the sky goddess, who is also the mirage, takes Hera's form and suffers the rape. And as a result, Ixion and Nephele see the first half animal, half human centaur, because Chiron is half divine, half human. So it's a different genealogy. So this is how this monster is conceived. And Zeus, of course, punishes him, and he sentences him to an eternal suffering. He is put in a wheel of fire that is constantly spinning, and relegated to Tantalus, which is part of the Greek underworld. And in karmic astrology, we put two things for Ixion. Number one, deceit, violence, aggression, excessive pride, hubris, of course, comes from the myth, but also understanding and accepting the wheel of karma. That yes, human suffering, bad deeds, horrible choices, and aggression, and also all kinds of hubris are part of the human psyche and part of the human experience, so to say. So this is our first eclipse in the eclipse season of this year. Happy eclipse. Try to be safe, and try to pay attention to everything that is linked to your family, your home, your nation, your immediate environment. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.